Hey guys, this is Dave with Bullets, Bourbon, and Freedom. I wanted to go over a quick topic today, talking about what a featureless rifle is. But before I do that, I have to give you a little bit of history. Now here in California, assault weapons have been banned for quite some time, I believe. Now don't test me on my history, because first off, I didn't grow up in California. I moved here about 10 years ago, and I really wasn't into guns that long, I guess. So I kind of came into it late. I built some AR pattern rifles, I guess more recently in the last like 3 or 4 years. And in doing so, I learned about some of the laws. Now, originally speaking, like I said, in California, assault weapons have been banned, and there's a list of things that define an assault weapon. Off the top of my head, I'll just go through. One is any centerfire rifle that basically has a removable magazine or detachable magazine, and it has any of the following: 1, an extendable, adjustable, or like telescoping or folding buttstock; 2, a pistol grip; 3, a forward pistol grip; 4, a flare or grenade launcher, and bayonet lug, I think. What were some of the other ones? Forget offhand. There's a couple more, but oh yeah, a flash suppressing device, so like just a flash hider, and so on. I think there's one more, and I don't remember exactly what it is, but either way, to get around that, what they did in the past was they had what was a bullet button for the magazine release, and a bullet button is basically it fills the void here where the magazine release button used to be, the same shape, but it was kind of fixed in length, so you couldn't depress it, but inside there was a small hole drilled in, and inside you could basically push a magazine release button with a tool, such as the tip of a bullet, hence the name bullet button. Now, that was all fine and dandy, and when I first started building ARs and getting into them, that's what I did. All my ARs were equipped with a bullet button. You need either a special tool or something to basically remove the magazines using that. It doesn't really make for quick mag changes very well. So jumping ahead, and I'll go back to featureless in a moment, but jumping ahead now, California passed, I think it started January 1st of this year in 2018, that if you had a bullet button equipped rifle, regardless if it was considered an assault weapon before or not, you had to register it as an assault weapon. And you had basically from January until June 31st? Yeah, so July 1st was basically the cutoff for registration, from my understanding. People had an option to do a couple things, 2 different things to avoid registration. One was doing a fixed magazine approach, where you could basically have a magazine of 10 or less rounds in it, and to release the magazine, essentially you have to break the action open. So they sell different pins, takedown pins, but basically you have to open up the action, then you'd be able to release the magazine. You close the action, put a new rifle or put a new mag in, charge it, and you're good to go. So that's one option. I personally don't like the fixed magazine approach, although it's kind of the least invasive in a sense, because you don't have to get rid of any of the other features, which I went through earlier, which define an assault weapon. Personally, I don't like the fixed mag approach. To me, it just kind of renders it a little bit, I don't know, useless. I mean, they sell different takedown pins where you can kind of, I've seen some pretty good ones where you basically squeeze. It's like, and once you squeeze, it just pops open. There's like others, it's just like a small lever, almost like a safety magazine or a safety device. And you do a small lever, and it just cracks the action open just enough to get the magazine out. And those are okay, but the challenge comes when you have like a Type 3 malfunction, in which you really have to be able to lock the bolt back. But if you do that, you can't really open the action. So there's like maybe 1, maybe 2 companies that say they have a solution for that. And I've seen a couple videos. I'm not really sure how it works. Either way, I've kind of avoided it. It's not a bad solution. Those who like it, it's fine. It gets you around the other options of going featureless route, which I'll explain in a bit. But basically, having a fixed mag approach means you can keep all of the other features of an assault weapon, because it essentially stops this rifle from having a detachable magazine, because you have to break the action open to remove the magazine. So essentially, it's like a disassembling slightly. The featureless route is a bit different, and this is what I've done with this rifle. And personally, in my opinion, it's the best way to go. But to each their own. What you'll know about my rifle is right away you'll see something ridiculous. This fin here. This fin is cool as it would be like a spoiler. It's not. It's just to stop and prevent you from, or anybody from, basically being able to put their thumb around the grip. Now this, you can see, because I have a hole here where you can kind of still get to the single point on the back of the receiver here. You can still put your thumb around if you really wanted to, and this is technically allowed because if you notice, the height of the fin is above the action of the trigger. So if you're able to get your thumb above this imaginary line from the trigger guard back, or top of the trigger back, you're technically allowed to have your thumb over there. And there's a couple companies which do sell options to do that. One is Sparrow Grip. It's kind of like a big rectangular grip for featureless. It looks great. I think I see the guys on Calguns all the time. To be honest, their product looks really good. I haven't tried it yet, nor gone that route, and for a good reason. Because one of the other things you have to do is have a fixed stock. Now, there's multiple ways you have a fixed stock. You can just pin your adjustable stock into a certain location, however you like. I chose to go with the Magpul fixed length carbine stock. This is, for me, I'm not a really big dude, I'm only like 5'8" on a good day. But for me, this is a really good length to pull. It's pretty tight up on me. I don't need it way out in front or anything like this. So this is a good option for me. So I've chosen the fixed length carbine stock from Magpul. And the way it's shaped, it doesn't really leave much room here, basically, to have something, your thumb or whatever. If you have like a CTR stock or any of the other adjustable stocks, essentially you still have kind of an exposed buffer tube here. And it gives you a little bit more room for your hand. And I just haven't really gone that route. Like I said, I went with this one. So the Sparrow grip that I've seen, it comes out basically flush here. It doesn't really leave much room for your thumb or anything. I feel like I get my hand caught. So I haven't even really tried it yet. But people have been using it and they do really like it. It does look like actually a really good product. So yeah, so I decided to put a fin on this, or just a kydex wrap, which basically prevents anybody from using their thumb around the grip, and it's in a pistol grip. It's a gray area from my understanding, but they are selling ARs still, and they have the fin grips already installed from the factories, and they're legal to sell. So I'm mimicking that, and as many other people are, and it seems to be good to go. So with the lack of pistol grip, a fixed stock, no attachments underneath like a pistol grip up front, or you know, I had to get rid of my grenade launcher. Oh well. But even I have like one of those angled grips from Magpul. I tried it a while ago. I think that's okay technically, but it's also a gray area because you can technically, if you wanted to put your thumb around it, you can kind of grasp it in terms of a pistol if you really were so desirable to do so. I've stayed away from those personally. I just didn't really care for them anyway. Also, I am running a Lantac Dragon muzzle brake. So I got rid of the flash hider that was on this. Actually, this one came with this. I had this pinned and welded from the factory because it's a 14.5-inch barrel. But so basically, essentially, fixed stock, no flash hider, no forward pistol grip, no pistol grip here. We're all good to go. So this allows me to avoid having to register with the state that I have a registered assault weapon. And the other benefit that I see with having or going the featureless route is you essentially would be able to take your magazine and use a regular magazine release. Make sure this is clear. It is. That's good. And So that's great. And there's multiple, if you don't like the fin, there's other options. Like I said, there's a Sparrow grip, which a lot of people really like. There's like the Monster Man grip, which essentially mimics like an older school rifle where it kind of comes out flat and you kind of like cup it, cupping the balls of the rifle. It's really weird. I personally haven't gone that route or tried it. It just looks really strange. Just kind of like, it just like hangs there. I don't know. I don't really care for that grip. There's a couple others that sure like the Boar grip, which kind of comes off at an angle. I guess it's really ergonomic if you're shooting right-handed, but if you were to try and go, you know, left to your sport side, it doesn't really work too well. And there's also the Thorsten grips. So the Thorsten grips are pretty interesting because it's actually it's not a grip, it's a stock. They actually have the buttstock coming off of the grip. It comes off more like a rifle, comes down and it angles up, and the buttstock is in the back attached to the grip. And they have just kind of a cover that goes over the buffer tube. And you can look them up online. They're a really good option. A lot of people like them because it still feels like a normal rifle, and you're able to get a good grasp on it. Like this is kind of difficult. Like it kind of hurts your hand. It's not real good to hold this one-handed. Now, in my opinion, it's not really a big deal because if I'm running a rifle, I will always run it with a sling. And with a sling, you essentially have 4 points of contact with your body anyway. So let's put a sling on this thing real quick. So, you know, I don't really mind having the thin grip, like I said, because even when you're running with a sling, and if you're benching, it's fine to need a sling, but if you're just, or standing still, but if you're doing run and gun or any other type of thing, I prefer to run it with a sling because you have your forehand holding the foregrip here, you have your buttstock up against your shoulder, that's 2 points of contact, you have the sling going over your shoulder here, and your fourth point of contact is essentially just controlling the fire group. And it works pretty well. And another thing to mention too, as you can see, I'm using the thumb, my right thumb here, using the safety on the right side of the rifle. This is an ambidextrous safety. So this allows you to go support side or strong side. Either way works. And you can still, like I said, actuate and control everything like you would normally. You just basically, your thumb moves from one side of the rifle to the other. And that is essentially what a featureless rifle is. So it's kind of a dumb thing, but it is what we need to do in California. Yeah. So there you have it. Thanks for listening. Brief intro to what a featureless rifle is. I'll actually, if anyone's curious on what this build is, I can put it in the description, but it's basically a Stubborn Mule Outdoor Supply GFY 15 rifle. And it's very similar to a Noveske Gen 3. My understanding is Stubborn Mule used to do the machining for Noveske for most of their parts. And they actually, I think one of the SMOS guys actually came up with the Gen 3 design and licensed it over to Noveske. I don't know offhand, I might be spitting lies here, I don't know. But either way, it's been a pretty nice rifle to me. I like it quite a bit. I have a Radian Raptor, Magpul Pro backup sights, cloud defensive mount here for the tape of the light here. I also run on a Arisaka mount just to kind of suck the Streamlight HL-X light pretty close to the rail here and still have access to get to everything. Yeah, it's been a nice rifle. Oh yeah, and I run an Aimpoint PRO on this particular rifle. I really like the Aimpoints. So there you have it. Featureless Rifles 101. Again, 3 main points. Usually just 3 things if you want to change, and you don't need to go anything real expensive. You can pin your stock telescoping buttstock. You can get a kydex wrap. These are probably like, you can make them yourself if you really want to, but if you get them done, you can get them done for like 20, 30, 40 bucks. Even that's pretty expensive, but 20 bucks or so, you'll find those. And you get a cheap muzzle brake on eBay or whatever, and yeah, and you're good to go. And then don't have a pistol grip up here, and you can run with your standard mag release. So again, this is Dave with Bullets, Bourbons, and Freedom. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a comment if you want, or don't. Up to you. Thank you.